There's been a very serious push from the left saying, let's not over-militarize our cops. That should put an end to that discussion right now. We should over-militarize. We should continue to do that.
You want to
It's
live
not
in a
intimidating.
police state, though?
People across the globe mourn the victims of the Paris attacks. The leaders of the US and UK are using the atrocity as a pretext to launch another offensive on privacy. After the two met together, they have announced that a new global anti-terror policies will be enforced. British Prime Minister David Cameron particularly made clear he wants more legal ways to listen to people's phone calls and monitor internet use.
10,000 troops will be deployed across the country, an unprecedented measure that underscores the lingering threat of further attacks.
Parts of Belgium look like militarized zones today. Troops took over the streets and took over from police, providing well-armed protection of potential terror targets.
There was a time when governments tried to be hush-hush about their surveillance capabilities and plans, sensing that many people would be unwilling to sacrifice their privacy in the name of security. But not anymore.
While on a tour of the Department of Homeland Security, US President Barack Obama has unveiled proposals to strengthen cybersecurity laws after recent hacking attacks against Sony Pictures and the federal government itself.
Just yesterday, we saw the hack of a military Twitter account and YouTube channel. No military operations were impacted, and it's a reminder that cyber threats are an urgent and growing danger.
It's the great debate that continues. We're talking about your privacy versus your protection. All new tonight at 6, a new tool police agencies can use to look directly through the walls of your home.
It's technology right out of science fiction.
Seems kind of like some movie technology or something like that, because I've never actually seen it in person.
But we're not living in Gotham City, and this technology is real. This handheld device called the Range R can see through walls. It's already in the hands of dozens of police departments across the country.
Hey, remember the gesture-controlled computer screens in the sci-fi thriller Minority Report? Well, something like this could soon become a reality. Apple has been granted a patent for a 3D gesture control system. It uses a camera to track your hand movements, which could eventually control a TV. The technology could also be applied to the iPad or Mac computer.
Sure sounds like something out of Hollywood. A drug-smuggling drone strapped with more than 6 pounds of crystal meth crashes before crossing the U.S. border.
Well, maybe this is something we could do right here in Detroit. The government is looking for help in developing advanced drones.
DARPA has issued a call out to experts who can create the algorithms needed to make these types of vehicles a reality.
What if I told you that we now have safe, smart, aware robots that can not only move in 2 dimensions, but they can move in 3 dimensions. These drones use the information from RealSense to see, think, and adapt. No more collisions. You can see they put down their controls, the drones are adapting to them. With our technology, these intelligent robots open doors that can lead to amazing wonders.
I think this next story is also going to get you hot under the collar. North Carolina town agreeing to remove both a statue honoring our veterans and a Christian flag from a park. You can see what the statue is up on your screen there. That's so offensive, isn't it? The town sued by a man who said he was offended by the depiction of that soldier kneeling by a cross.
Leaders at Duke University say credible threats forced the cancellation of plans for a Muslim call to prayer from the school's historic chapel tower.
A Siena poll released today shows 49% of New York voters want Common Core stopped. And tonight, the fight against the curriculum became emotional at a local school.
We've heard of students opting out of the Common Core standardized testing, but tonight a teacher is asking to opt out.
I must go on record as strongly objecting to this test. This is not developmentally appropriate for my students, and I find it cruel and harmful to suggest that it is.
My Little Pony fans embrace the toys and animated TV shows for their lighthearted nature and focus on sweet concepts. A Kickstarter project takes the My Little Pony toy look and applies it to a series of hell beasts bent on the destruction of the world, and is now getting more ambitious by offering the 4 horses of the apocalypse.
Stewards of the symbolic doomsday clock are ringing the alarm about rising world threats. A survey of trends by the publication Bulletin of Atomic Scientists has placed the current time as 3 minutes to midnight.
Based on their observations, the members of the Bulletin of the Atomic Scientists Science and Security Board find conditions in the world to be so threatening that they are moving the hands of the doomsday clock 2 minutes closer to midnight. It is now 3 minutes to midnight.
The terrorist attack in Paris galvanized the world and sparked overwhelming sympathy. But the reaction to a massacre in Nigeria at the same time has been much different, even though many more people died there.
Nigeria has also been grappling with a number of deadly terror attacks. Militants from Boko Haram have laid siege on villages in the north, killing hundreds, possibly thousands of people.
Richard, the other news in the Middle East today was the government of Yemen has officially fallen.
Right now we have 2 countries in the Arabian Peninsula where their future is very uncertain. In Yemen, the president resigned. His house was surrounded by rebels, and he effectively threw in the towel. He decided he didn't want to fight anymore.
Late word from overseas tonight of the passing of a major figure in the Middle East. King Abdullah of Saudi Arabia has died at the age of 90.
The Saudis are looking at the Iranians in the north, the Iranian allies, which is essentially Iraq, Syria, and Lebanon on one side, and Yemen now to the south and west under Iranian dominance. It's a loss of an ally against al-Qaeda, and it's a huge geopolitical gain for Iran, extending its influence over Arab states.
Iran here in the east. You know about its influence here in Baghdad. We followed that for years. You know about its influence in Syria, backing Assad, the leader there, and you know its support for Hezbollah in the country of Lebanon. And now in the past week alone, you have Shiite-backed leaders here in Yemen throwing the country, or the government rather, out of power. And the sphere of influence here around this entire area was Saudi Arabia, now right here in the middle in the death of its king last night, or overnight I should say, and just tucked away here in the left-hand corner is the country of Israel.
Iran and Russia agree to boost bilateral cooperation in security and military spheres. Iranian Defense Minister Hossein Dehran and his Russian counterpart Sergei Shoigu have signed an agreement following negotiations in Tehran. The agreement calls for the developing of and strengthening of military and defense ties between the two countries based on mutual interests. Both sides agreed to cooperate in their fight against terrorism, separatism, and extremism.
The high-level visits, which are becoming much more frequent between Turkey and Ethiopia, have gained a significant momentum in the recent times. We are organizing these visits and talks in several vast areas, such as the military. Today is the start of a new era between Turkey and Ethiopia.
Interesting comments, some would say shocking comments from Pope Francis this morning in response to the French terror attacks, implying free speech is not acceptable when it insults religion. Here's the direct quote. Here's what he said. One cannot provoke, one cannot insult other people's faith. One cannot make fun of faith. In freedom of expression, there are limits.
Pope Francis showed us how it's done when pulling off the ultimate fashion fail as a gust of wind blew off his hat.
This graphic footage, which some viewers may find disturbing, shows the carnage left in the wake of the latest heavy shelling in eastern Ukraine. At least 20 people have been killed in what's reported to be 3 separate attacks on the government-held city of Mariupol.
Iran has condemned the Israeli strike against Hezbollah fighters in the Syrian Golan Heights.
And now, in anticipation of a possible Hezbollah response, Israel has reportedly put its military forces on high alert.
This asteroid is called 2004 BL86. Asteroids come by the Earth frequently, yes, but this is a medium-sized one, so it's larger than the average asteroid.
A big one is coming close to Earth, but no need to fret. There is no chance that this space rock will collide with our planet. By close, we mean more than 700,000 miles from Earth, or about 3 times the distance from here to the Moon.
Where ice and fire meet. Lava pours out of Iceland's Bárðardunga volcano almost 5 months after its eruption began back in August. The impressive Hurlurain lava field cuts a swathe across the North Atlantic island.
Καιρός.